Hello and welcome. This is Cherie with Rehash Fiber, and we are going to continue our fiber art adventure through Montana. The day before the festival, I was able to meet Paul and Sherry, and they own the Montana Wool Barn. It is a wool processing plant in their barn. They will show us step by step from when the wool arrives to each process and machine it goes through to then it comes out to being yarn. This was the day before the festival, so there was no actual wool being processed because they were part of the show. And they have sheep and their own wool products, but those also were boxed up and ready for the show. However, I am very grateful that they allowed me in and spent this much time showing all the equipment. It is very interesting to see the process. And you know, as fiber artists, we're so grateful for the wool, and it helps to know the steps from sheep to us. And this was it. So come along and take a look at this process.
Well, this barn was built in 1915. It's been a part of the ranch forever. This was originally a dairy barn that I grew up here, and we decided to, after the dairy left, it sat empty for a lot of years, and so we had traveled around the country and looked up fiber mills and kind of made that kind of one of the, a destination stop if you went and looked at different things in the country. And anyway, got interested in it, and through lots of conversations, we decided to renovate this barn and put a fiber mill in it. And so didn't really care for the dairy too much, but spend a lot of time in here now, and so it's not a bad thing. So that's kind of how we arrived at this, where we're at today.
So how does it all start? Like,
okay,
does
so
somebody call you and tell you that they have fiber that they need done?
So we start, they get their names on a list right away, and actually this is my favorite part of all of it, is the dirt that comes in. This is what attaches people to fiber. For me, anyway. I know a lot of people don't like to touch it, but this is my favorite. So this is this order is actually an order that is going out for a gal who does yarn all over the country. She dyes it, and and she does several orders like this a year. But anyway, we just start with like 2 pound in 2 pound increments. I'll show you in here. We have a bathtub set up, but each tub can take 6 pounds at a time, and we just do this, and then we put them in nets to hold it together, and then we wash it in the tub in 180 degree water. So
180.
Yep, 180. We actually start with this is targhee, so we start with 3 pre-soaks. A lot of them you can do 2 pre-soaks. But targhee, the basis of targhee is wash, and when you think it's clean, wash it again, because it just is.
It does not want to let go.
No, it doesn't want to let go. But anyway, so that's kind of where we start, is by picking it apart. We can wash about 24 pounds a day, so it's a slow process. That's where we start. You can see the times in there. I don't know if you can get the dirt off the stuff. And I can turn it on and be loud for a minute, but we just put the stuff on here, and then I'll leave that open so you can see it. So when we do it, my garbage is on there. We just kind of pick it apart again a little bit, and so you can get chaff and stuff out. Each process you take chaff out, but. And you'd go to the carter over here.
This is a pin drafter, and this particular drafter, every mill has some different ones. There's a single head, has 76 combs inside here. If you look inside there, there's those combs there, and I can turn that on. Normally, depending on what kind of weight of yarn you're trying to do, this is where you draw the, draft it and align the fibers, get the grams down to where you need it to be able to run it through the spinner. But
everything has to go through here twice, and if it's like a dual coated or like an Icelandic, we put it through 3 times to get it more blended together and more.
Just a disclaimer for your camera, we do not usually run this with the cover off because it's got a safety switch and it's very dangerous, but I'm going to do it for the camera so you can see.
Okay.
Because normally have this cover on here, and because you would not ever want to get your fingers caught in there.
This is the spinner, and we don't have anything going on the spinner right now, but you can kind of look at it and see. We can turn it on. The wool, the baskets sit here after they've come out of the pin drafter, and they go up over this all the way through, and then down and feed through here.
Let's look at this.
And then it comes off of that on the spools. Then we skein wind here. It's about 24 pounds a day. Yeah. Is that what you would say? And usually we usually have all the machines running, and I'll kind of run this side and he'll run that side, and then we have a high school student that comes and helps over here. So that's 24 pounds incoming. So like this order that we're working on over here is like 450 some pounds. So we're talking, it's
a number of days.
Yeah, it's more than a month. Yeah, to run that much in a mill this size.
And finer wools take a lot longer, so it's really get an exact hour. Mm-hmm. Like this finer wool is going to takes a lot longer for one to wash and to run. You got to slow everything down because you don't want to ruin the fiber. It just takes a little bit longer to run it, and finer fibers probably take up near twice as long as a coarser fiber, but the product is, of course, obviously a whole lot better product for next to skin.
Okay.
But so there's a use for all of it. I mean, because like even the rug yarns, people that know fiber, they know that you put the coarser stuff into the rug yarns and you have a nice cozy rug for your feet, or so yeah. But that's obviously a lot quicker because it runs right off the carder than running the yarn that goes through all the other processes. So on this machine we do everything from, like, this is just an 8-ounce bag, and we can do that, and everything goes through at an 8-ounce pretty much on our felter, and then we stack them to make them thicker. And so we've done like saddle pads and stuff like that. But I'm going to turn this on and I'll show you how it.
I really appreciated knowing how all that goes on and seeing all those machines. And another thing that was really on my mind is that this is a small family-owned business. They work very hard for the job that they have, that we are all very grateful for. There are not that many mills anymore, and so the gratitude to the mill owners needs to be huge because that is how we're getting our stuff. So the way you can say thanks is going to their site and buying their things. When I travel for these fiber art adventures, I plan extra time into the trip. When I go to an area, I really like to see it and experience it and have a good feel for what that area is like. Also, I want to share it with you. In case you never get a chance to go there, you'll then be able to see it. Or if you plan on going, you'll have some ideas of some other things to do. So for starters, if you're going to go to the Copper Cave Fiber Festival, get your rental car really early. Because it's Montana and everybody's traveling there in the summer. And I waited till like a month and a half before the trip, and into Bozeman, all cars were gone. I hadn't experienced that. They're like, no cars. I'm like, what? So I went to Missoula. Well, that ended up being a real treat. It's a little bit further. It was about a 2 to 2.5 hour drive from Missoula to Whitehall. But let me tell you what, flying into the Missoula airport, it's a beautiful landing. You get to see the city. And then the airport is very beautiful itself. They have it decorated so wonderfully Montana with art and wood paneling. But the best part is that there was 4 gates, 1 baggage claim belt, and it was just such a nice treat to come in to a small airport. I've been through these airports that are just behemoth in size, and this, I just felt so good. So that's great. Now, I spent half a day in Missoula. I talked to a local and found out the great thing to do. She said, go downtown to Karis Park. This was a Tuesday, and yet there was a band playing in Karis Park. People were all around. It was a lovely vibe. It's a very beautiful part of the city, the river, old buildings, and there was a yarn store called Joseph's Coat. So of course I popped in there, looked at everything, and found some beautiful yarn. So that was a super treat. Do check out Missoula. The population of the city is about 76,000. Everything is just a little bit more chill. So that was great. Then we're heading down I-90 a couple hours to Whitehall, a nice little town. By chance, my Airbnb was located on the same road as the Copper Cave Barn. That just worked out. Clara was the host. However, she does not always have the Airbnb posted. It's not an everyday business. They just rent out their apartment when they feel like it, so it's kind of sporadic. However, I did check Airbnb for you, and there are a variety of things there. Again, plan early. Also, Cami is great about sending the Copper Cave information out and listing some hotels in the area as well. So just do everything early because it's summer in Montana. So on Point of Rocks Road, which is where my Airbnb was, and the barn was just up the road, that was the most beautiful thing. I would be driving the road and just have to stop and get out of the car and look around. Now, I did ask my host what's really cool in the area that's not on TripAdvisor, that only the locals know. And she said, head to the Renova Hot Spring. That was just 4 miles up the same road. Go past the Copper Cave Barn, another couple miles. It's an all-natural spring right in the river. There's nothing commercial about it. Got to the hot springs, I could not even put my hand in the water for more than 5 seconds. It was that hot. Really cool though that this hot bubbling water is coming up from the earth, but hot. Now, another couple came by and they had been there before, and they said that there are ways they can adjust the rocks. You let more of the cool water from the river in and open it up and let more of the hot water from the spring out. And I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. Still too hot for me, was not able to get in it. Had some fun wading around in a river in Montana and just experiencing that. So if you go there, bring your bathing suit and check it out, because maybe the temp will be right for you. Seeing as I was in Montana, I thought, let's go find an old Western town. And sure enough, they have them. There is Nevada City, about an hour away, in an area of Montana called Alder Gulch, is an area where one of the largest gold strikes happened. And There's couple of old towns there. One is Nevada City, and that is more of a museum. They have gathered a bunch of very old buildings from around the region and put it together as a town museum. So it's really fun to walk through because you could just imagine the old days. They had everything from the saloon, the school, the house, the carriage house. Inside the old buildings, they had things from the era, and that was just really fun. Great to see. Then another mile up the road is Virginia City, and that's the actual city. And it is turned into a kind of neat little tourist place. There are up and down each side of the street, lots of shops. They are from food and drink to souvenir to museums and all variety of things. And that is worth taking a walk. And there's other things to do in the area as well. Train rides, I saw people getting on the train. So that's worth checking out, very fun. Lastly, I was in the mood for nature. Not far from Whitehall is the Lewis and Clark State Park. And they're known for their caverns. So if you are physically able, book the classic tour of the cavern. Do it online because I started when I got there and each day there were no spots left. So I had to go on my last day of my trip. They say they don't accept walk-ins. However, when I was there, I think I did see a couple people do the walk-up, but just plan ahead, book your tour, and know you're gonna go. It is a beautiful place to experience. The classic tour is more physical. You do about 3/4 of a mile walk up a paved path to get to the entrance of the cave. Then throughout the cave, you're going down steps. Sometimes you have to crouch. There's one place where you have to slide a bit. And so you do have to be able to move your body well, but it's beautiful. Cavern room after cavern room was great. A state guide goes with you, tells you all about it, and it's beautifully done. So I felt a lot of gratitude for the people in the old days that discovered it and then went on to create it, because that is some really hard, treacherous work. And now we have this beautiful thing to explore they made easy for us. There is an alternate cave tour called Paradise Tour. If you have a harder time moving, that's an easier tour to do. Also, the visitor center is up high. There's picnic tables, so you can have your lunch there and enjoy that. There's hiking trails if you would like. I went ahead and took a hike to a nice scenic overlook where I just wished I was a bird. But in the meantime, while I was looking out over everything, I got to use my drop spindle a bit, and that was very relaxing. So those are those fun extra things that I did that I wanted to share with you. As you all know, if you're a traveler, it's a great thing to do. And if you're not much of a traveler, I'm going to urge you to just get out and do it, because I always feel so much better doing it and after I've done it. It is great to see and experience new places, especially if there's fiber involved as well. All right, everybody, thank you for joining me on this Montana adventure. Happy travels, and thanks for watching.